Yeah. Well, you wanna hear my approach with this?
Let's hear it.
People ask me. So I'm always thinking
Higher channeled, right? Higher channeled.
creative is the word, outside the box. So first of all, you're right. I mean, we live in 21st century. Everything is integrated. There are many applications out there. It's easy, except respectfully, as you know, with Amazon, nothing is easy.
Correct.
And the devil is in the details. So there is no such plug and play operation that you can have. Number one, with Amazon, there's all these different scenarios, things individual. Number one. Number two, with the letters ERP, when those letters exist in an operation, nothing is cheap to touch that ERP system. You need to hire the systems integrators. You need to get an integrator, pay the fee for integration, blah, blah, blah. So it becomes a scary proposition. And then, you know, another thing happens, guys. I'm sure you see this all day long. The IT guys, they push back big time because now you've got a whole new thing. And so, and then once that's done, then you got the training of the people for the new way of doing. So it does come with some things to consider. So my position is this. I say, look, how would you like it if somebody came along and said, you know what, just like you're selling to Amazon, sell it to me. I'll be your seller central operation. In other words, create a virtual company, treat it like a customer, except it's you, and then forget the ERP, forget everything else. On your ERP system, treat it like a customer, but then set up an outside your ERP system, just like an independent company, a separate accounting system which can run on a $10 a month accounting system, which comes, by the way, with integrations and little integration tools. And that way you can get up and running right away. And then all you do is you accumulate and you produce a P&L and balance sheet just for your seller central operation without making things complicated. At the click of a button, anytime. It only gets updated every other week when the settlement report comes out. But who cares? You're not going to report every day anyway. And then at the end of the year, you can invoice this company the profits. So that way you have the best of both worlds. So this way, there's no integration, no nothing, just a bit of a mindset shift that we're not asking anybody to set up a brand new company. It's a virtual company. And which, by the way, at the end of the year, you may decide, you know what, I'm going to keep this as a separate company and treat it as a customer on my books. So this way, there is no ERP integration fees. There's no extensive training of this, that, the other, the customization and blah, blah. Just ship the cargo to FBA shipments. And then that means that for every FBA shipment, you're billing the sister company, or we call it the Amazon Co. And Amazon Co makes the sale. So that's my approach.
And like, look, in our experience, Nick, I mean, the twist I'd put on that I'd caution listeners about is that we've seen that work for Amazon exclusive brands, right? Like manufacturer that shows up, stands up a brand for the exclusive purposes of Amazon. But there are a fair amount of holes to be poked in that, in the form of like brands that are established and selling across channels. How about product liability? Right? Like you're a brand that sells on Amazon, you got to carry general liability. That's a requirement for Amazon these days, right? To protect customers. And so, you know, you've got another entity you have to insure, you have another entity you have to worry about from a compliance standpoint.
No, there is no separate entity. It's the same company. This is a virtual company. It's just,
I know, but remember, seller accounts have things like, you know, bank account requirements. You have all kinds of things that you might be solving one problem, but you're still gonna have to solve another.
And Nick, I think what we would stress is, right, like, look at each case and say, like, you know, if there are too many hurdles, we've never found the ERP integration with respect to inventory accounting to be a big hurdle. It's just something that has to be handled. We have to ask the right questions and then get it set up. What we've actually seen as a bigger challenge or hurdle with some of these brands is they're trying to solve problems that aren't important, right? They have these outdated reporting reports,
Yes.
these very large Excel files with 1,000 macros in them. We say, look, like what matters is that we get selling, you start building up some IP value inside your seller account that you own, and we'll solve these problems and we'll tackle them, you know, in order of priority, right? There are some things that are blockers that have to be dealt with in the beginning, and then there are other things that are, you know, less critical that are not blockers from getting selling, and we handle those. But that's never been. It can be challenging at times, but you know, there are enough. What we say is only integrate where you need to, right? Where it's critical, and there are enough tools that plug in that are reliable enough that this never is a huge problem. It's just something where we have to, you know, ask the right questions and set it up and validate that it's working, and then most importantly is get selling, right? Start scaling up and focus on driving sales.
Yeah, like opportunity side drives the bus, right? You say to most brands, you're absolutely right. Like all those costs add up for integrators and things like that, right? But you say to most brands, if you say, look, we could take your 1P business to 3P and go from $5 to $25 million. Nobody bats an eye at $25,000 integration.
Exactly.
Right? Like, and you go like, that's no problem. So we just try to right size the solution to the opportunity.